Hello and welcome. Come on in. Stay a while. Pull up a chair. Sit on the couch. Cozy up next to the fire. Grab a drink if you'd like. Lord knows we deserve it. Because this is JaMar Cup Fantasy Football Live, Playoff Edition. That's right. If you're watching this, you're probably in the playoffs. Kyle and Mario, I appreciate your dedication. You guys can have a drink too. So here we are. It's the first round of the playoffs. Scott and Aero are on bye this week. So just sit back and enjoy, fellas. Next week it'll be your time. In the Scott bracket, we have James at 8-5 versus Jason at 7-6. In the Aero bracket, we have Brandon at 8-5 versus Brad at 6-7. Yes, you heard me correctly. The first ever sub 500 playoff team. Brad, 6-7. I don't even know what to say. I think Matt said it quite well on the message boards. Are we really going to live in a world where 6-7 gets you into the playoffs? I did my part. I attribute it to Kyle, Mario, losing, first off. But again, I appreciate your guys' dedication to watching this show. So let's get to it. It's playoffs, after all. This is what we're really here for. I just want you all to picture a world, not where a 6-7 team wins the championship, but where a team that's on a five-game winning streak gets in the playoffs, rolls through first round, team that he's played twice already, steamrolls the number one seed because his team's sliding a little bit, rolls into the championship game where he's been 3 of the last 4 years, no less, and gets a W. Picture a world with this big old belt just wrapped around his waist. It looks good, doesn't it? It looks good. It'd be nice if Zach could get us the trophy back so I could have it at least sitting here before I give it to Aero, hang the belt around the top as it hangs down, and you guys better hope I don't win, because that bad boy is going to sit right here every week next year. But let's get to the previews. So we got James at 8-5 versus Jason at 7-6. Now the previous matchup between these two teams happened twice this season. Week 1, James pulled out a 115-87 win. Now it was Jason's first trip into the JaMar Cup, so it's to be expected. Leave it to the commish to show the new guy how things work around here. Then they also played in Week 12, where, you guessed it, James wins 121-107. That's right, James wins again. Jason scored some more points. His players, like I've said before, you're still a year away. Yes, I've beaten you twice, and yes, it's hard to beat somebody 3 times in a row. But, I'm on a 5-game winning streak, Jason. But there's just no slowing down that train. I'm going to match the single season, it's not really a record, but Aero currently holds it at 8 in a row. So I guess he'd have to lose next week for me to tie him at 8. Yeah, that's going to happen. I'm going to tie you at 8, Aero, and that means I'm going to win. You guys are catching on to the theme of this show, right? Okay, good. So, like I said, I'm on a 5-game win streak, which coincidentally happened against Zach. It was my first win. I was sitting at 3-5 and coming into a good part of my schedule. I said, all right, well, if I can win, I got to win against Zach. I got to beat Brad. I got to beat Joe. Those were looking like three pretty good wins for me. The Zach one turned out to be the hardest. It was a less than 1 point win for me. But it kick-started my season, and here I am, the 4th seed. So on the other hand, we have Jason. You know, he did what needed his team to do. He scored 150 points to win last week. But, you know, it's your first year. Yeah, you made the playoffs. I mean, Kyle wishes he could beat you, honestly. Kyle's never made the playoffs, Jason, so you should feel lucky. You know, we wanted you to come in this league, and we wanted you to, you know, we wanted you to feel good. Not too good, but just, you know, just get that taste. Just be like, oh, I can do good in this league. You know, I can make the playoffs. Well, it's one thing to make the playoffs. It's another thing to get a win in the playoffs. I mean, I've been to the championship game 3 times with 0 wins. Yeah, I know. That's what you guys were all saying. You're yelling at the TV screen. Brown, you've never won a championship game. Yeah, I know. I know. Ask Dave how hard it is. It's hard work. Hard work, work. Hard work, work. I should have gone into TV or something. I could do commercials. I mean, look at his face. I mean, I definitely have the face for radio, that's for sure. So anyway, Jason, your team's a year ahead of, you know, you're a year ahead of schedule. So, I mean, don't look into getting a big win this week. I'm just saying. It ain't gonna happen. Even with Brandon Marshall's punctured lung, I'm still gonna win by 20. Yeah, I'm calling my shot here. 2-0. 20. Go ahead, write it down. Mark this moment in time. You believe Brown said he's going to win by 20? What a dick. Yeah, that's right. It's the playoffs. There's no friends now. Anymore. There's no more friends. This is for me. It's for keeps. Fine. Enough about me. I'm not being very humble. I apologize. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. 20 points. Count it. On the other side of the bracket, the A-row bracket, which I believe is going to be the tough bracket because that team, damn. Between A-row's team and my team, look out, y'all. So we've got Brandon at 8-5 versus Brad at 6-7. Brandon, you tried every which way to screw yourself. I mean, you would have been in the playoffs, but I think you said you rather would have lost so that you would have gotten, that you would have played Jason on my side of the bracket, so, or the Scott side. But, I mean, you gotta be careful what you ask for. Because you're going up against Brad, and Brad's team ain't no joke. Even though he's 6-7, and yeah, that doesn't make sense. 6-7. I mean, he can't be very good, right? Look out. Look out. Now, the previous matchup between these two teams happened in Week 9. Just recently. You know, this was when Brad was on a slide. He had guys on bye weeks. He didn't have Aaron Rodgers that week. Didn't have Rashad Jennings. So, naturally, Brandon won 113-81. I know what you're saying. It's not very close. That's alright. I mean, it was just 1 week. Ask Jason. So anyway, I feel like this matchup's going to be a little bit closer. It was going to be a lot closer, besides the fact that Brandon picked up Kenny Stills and Jarvis Landry on the waiver wire this week, which totally blew my mind. I figured somebody would have got either one of those guys. Brandon gets both of them. Team's looking up, Brandon. So, you got Brad this week. You got Rodgers on Monday night, so you're going to need a big lead going into Monday. Because Rodgers is going to put up about 40. 40 burger, at least. But, you know, you got Cobb to offset it a little bit. You know, it's going to be some tough sledding this week, especially with Dez not getting a touchdown on Thursday. Not good. It's a good start. You know, you got 8 points, but so no, it's going to be close. You know, you're going to have Russell Wilson get those running yards. Because you got rid of Stafford. Thank you. He's probably going to score 30 points. P.S. Postscript back to my matchup. Jason, way to play Jay Cutler this week. Oh, you dropped him? For Eli? Who you're not going to play? Yeah, I'm scrapping the Brad versus Brandon portion of this show. And I'm going back to our matchup, Jason. I told myself early in the week, I'm like, alright, how am I going to do this? Should I just totally bash all his players so that, you know, say, oh, Trey Mason sucks, so you're going to put somebody else in? Or then I was like, well, maybe I should tell him that Trey Mason is awesome so that he puts him in and then he does terrible. Then I was like, well, what if I say that he is good and then Jason thinks that that means that I think he's going to do bad, so he thinks that I said what she said a couple weeks ago was going to happen. Interesting. But really, that's all. I'll quit talking about myself. I know you guys are tired of hearing about it. So back to Brandon against Brad. Brandon, I feel like this is the time of year where, I mean, this year, yeah, you got the 3 seed. Big whoop. I feel like it's been a grind for you to get to the 3 seed. You know, 8 and 5 is good. You're only game behind it. 2 games behind Arrow. 3 games behind Scott. It's just, I feel like it's really been a grind. At least Jimmy Graham didn't cost you a playoff spot. Woo. So anyway, this is that time of year. You're like the Chiefs. That's right. You're the Kansas City Chiefs. You've got a good regular season going. You know, you get into the playoffs and you're rolling, and then you let everybody down. You let your owner down. You let your fans down. Most importantly, you let yourself down, Brandon. That's fine. If you want to go to Arizona, that's cool. But you ain't going out as a winner. That's for damn sure. Yeah, you might reach the championship game, but enough said. Brad, I don't even know where to start. Yeah, it's been said before. Your team, I mean, I just don't know how you do it. You drafted Johnny Manziel, as Matt states. Matt Prater. I mean, he's been good recently, but you don't have him on your team. You didn't even stay for the final half of the draft, so we tried to screw you, but I guess it didn't really matter. So you're always in it because of Rodgers. You know, AJ Green's good. I really don't know who else is on your team. Oh, this guy. I'm trying to go slow so my computer can keep up with the resolution rate. Transfer pixels. It's complicated. You guys wouldn't understand. So anyway, this is going to be a good matchup. I mean, this will probably be the closest matchup of the week between the 2 playoff ones. I mean, Kyle and Mario are playing to see which one will cry a little bit less after the weekend. I mean, I don't know really who hurts worse. Mario scores the 2nd most points in the league and doesn't even finish with a 500 record. Kyle was, I'm pretty sure, the number 2 or number 3 seed at one point this year, and downhill slide right out of the playoffs. I'm pretty sure Mario hurts the most. I mean, Kyle was this close This close. But, I mean, he knows what it feels like to be on the losing end. I was going to say to be a loser, Kyle, but this is a family show, and you're not a loser, Kyle. It's not your fault. It's not your fault, Kyle. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Kyle, it's not your fault. So watch out for that matchup in the sub-tier consolation bracket. Watch out for that heavyweight fight. But Brandon against Brad is going to be the one to watch this week. It's going to be tooth and nail, back and forth. So watch for that. Jason, I mean, congratulations on making the playoffs, but, you know, just go ahead and give me your transaction fees, and I'll put it in my little envelope to hand out to the winners later. So, I mean, you know, thanks for caring, honestly. You've got as many wins this year as the previous 4 owners of your team have gotten combined, so we applaud you for that. But it's just not going to be your year. I'm taking you down for a 3rd time. I know, the lighting isn't bad. I'm putting my fingers in a bad spot where my shirt blends in with my fingers, but it's 3. 3. See? There. You happy? But good luck either way. And Scott, I'll see you next week. Oh, you want my predictions? James wins somewhat big. 20 points. Okay, that's big. So next week, I'm looking for Scott to play James and A-Row to play Brandon. That's right. I picked you, Brandon. You should feel good. Because this is our year. We will see each other in the championship game. I'm not going to make any promises that I'm going to be friendly with you that week. Chances are I won't. But you better be there, because I'm going to be there. So I'll see you at the top. Have a good playoff week. Later.